Hi, this is Lisa Knight, your Physics 110 instructor. This video will describe to you what the initial and final thoughts blogs are and what I expect from you to do in them. So let's take a look at Module 2, and notice that in Module 2, on the day that Module 1 is due, you have an initial thoughts blog to complete for Module 2. It's the same day that the final thoughts blog for 1 is due. And you'll do your module and everything, and you'll turn in your other assignments on 9/11, but then the day after, you'll do your final thoughts blog for this module, which also corresponds to the initial thoughts blog for 3, for the next module. So what are these things, and what the heck am I having them assigned for? Well, let's take a look at the ones in Module 2. So if I scroll down here and I click on this, in Module 2's initial thought says, in this module you will be introduced to the concepts of motion. Use 1 or 2 paragraphs to answer the following. Remember, this is a college level course and you're expected to use proper grammar and punctuation. And the question is, what is the difference between speed, velocity, and acceleration? And give an example of each. So here's some time for you to start thinking about some of the main concepts that you're getting ready to learn about, and to identify what you think you know about them. And you may not know anything about them, but I want you to give the best shot that you can at defining those terms and giving the examples of them. Then, after you've done all your assignments on the day after the due date for Module 2, on the 12th, you'll revisit this again in the final thoughts blog. And in this particular example, you're going to be a little more specific. So the question will be related to your initial thoughts, but it won't necessarily be the exact same question. So the idea here is that you are going to build on what you know. And you're building connections. Like, you may know what speed is, right? But you've heard the word velocity and you're not really sure if it's the same thing or not. After this class, you'll have a really good idea of the difference between the two. And you should be able to express that in a written statement. So this is a way for you to build on what you know and to clarify any misconceptions that you have. And believe you me, you will have many misconceptions that you have developed over a lifetime of just observing how things act and behave in nature. And this class can be challenging because of that. So this is a way for you to give some internal reflection. The blogs are 25% of your grade. You do not want to just not do them. And also on the exam, your open-ended essays will be directly related to the blog questions, so that you will not be doing them just for nothing. You'll have a good idea of what the answers are to these types of questions when you start preparing for the exam. Once again, the initial blog is always due on the due date for the previous module. The final blog is always due a day after the module due date. So that way you're always thinking ahead and thinking back on what you've learned. Email me if you have any questions.